Assalamu alaikum. I'm making this video because of the request from brothers who just joined the school and were not able to make uh, MLG exams for the students. So I'll be using this time to explain in detail the processes involved in you making exams for your students. The first thing you see on MLG when you log in is this page, which is the home page. Then you have to go to the icons here. When you get to this location, you click on question banks. When you click on the question banks, it's going to load. The teachers who've been here before, we've been able to have some questions in our banks. Now, for example, from my last year, I was taking grade 7, grade 11, and 12. And this year, I started with grade 5. So the first thing you do to have a question in your bank is you add a bank. You click on add a bank. So now you've got a new bank. And now the next thing to do is to rename the bank so that you can be able to differentiate between the banks. So you can name the bank grade 6. You can name the bank grade 6. Excuse me. Okay, so let me rename the bank grade 6 science. So grade 6 science new bank. So that's the name for the bank. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, almost 5 banks. So now if you want to add questions, you must, the first thing to do is to select the bank you want to add questions to. Now I want to add questions to grade 6 bank, or let me select grade 5 bank. So when I select, I already had a question in the grade 5 bank before. So let me add another one. If my question is multiple choice, I click on it. If it's a multiple response, then I click true and false, ordering or matching, depending on what type of questions you want to have. So I click on the multiple choice because mine is a multiple choice question. Now the question type is already multiple choice. And also the complexity, you have to tell how complex you want the question to be. Should the question be very easy? Should it be easy, medium, or difficult, or very difficult? Then I click on medium. So the classification means you want the students to understand or you apply what you've taught them in the classroom. Is it about analysis? Is it about skills? So I'm going to click on understanding. Then what is objective? Make sure that the objective tallies with what you have in the person guide. Now, for my person guide, I have conducting experiments for grade 5, conducting experiment. So whenever you type in what you want to type, you would find something that looks like what you already have in the person guide. So you don't bother yourself about typing anymore. You have to click on it, because if what you type is not the same from with what you have in the person guide, that will be wrong. So now you can type your own words here to be the title. So mine is going to be conducting experiment. So the objective has to be something in the person guide. So you have to select that from what you have, but you have to start by typing it. But the other one, which is the title, you have to put the title you want to put in it. So let me put conduct an experiment. Or so the next one, which is a question language, do you want the question to be in Arabic or in English? So you select the language. Then now you have the category, means what category of question do you want to put, but you don't need that. So the next one is the question body. The question body is the question itself. Now, for example, if I have a question, I might say, why do scientists, why do scientists do experiments? This is my question. Why do scientists do experiments? Then the next thing is the choices. Because my question is it's a multiple choice question. I have to put in choices here. I have two spaces, and if I want to add more choices, then you click on add, it increases. And if you want to reduce it, you cancel. So let me add my answers to my possible answers could be that to answer a question, to answer a question, and it could also be to have fun, and it could also be to display ignorance. So now, after all this, you have to select what the correct answer is to answer a question. So now you move on to the next stage, and all the stuff you don't need it. Then after that, you save it. So as soon as you click on save, then it says the question has been saved successfully. So the next thing you do is you go to the icons here. You select, before we selected the question banks because we had no question in the bank. But if you already had questions in the bank before, you don't need to make new questions in the bank again. You just select online assessment. Now the next thing to do, which is the next stage, is online assessment. So you want to assess the students, you want to give them exams to do or test or homework. So the first thing, you have the icons here. The first thing to click on is the exam preparations. So when you click on it, it takes you into how to prepare the exam itself. Now these are the exams which I've prepared before. So now to prepare a new exam, you have to click on add a new examination. So when you click on that, it brings you here. Now remember that my topic, the exam name was what? Conducting experiment. Conducting experiment. So the type is periodic evaluation test. So then it loads again. Then the next one is the question, is specific question because you have a specific question for the grades. So the next thing you do is you go down here, you choose a material for which you want to give the exam to. My exam is meant for grade 5 science. So I have grade science biology, I have SAT, but I have grade 5 science. You click on it, then the lesson will have to be in accordance with what you have in the question guide also. So you can type in first. So once you find something that looks like what you need, especially it has to be week 1. And what I have in my week 1 is scientific investigation. Scientific investigation. So this is it. Or let me say week 2. Let me select my week 2. Scientific investigation. So this is week 2. So after that, you move on to the next level, which is you adding questions. Now you want to add questions which you've already made in your question bank before. You click on add questions, then it brings you here. So you select the level you want to make the question for, 7, 12, 11. So I want to make for 5. I click on 5, then it's going to load. It's going to load for me to add questions. So these are the questions I have in my grade 5. So, but remember that you cannot add more than less than 3 questions. If you had 2, it's not going to accept it. The list. So now, because I don't have up to 3 in my grade 5, because I just got my grade 5 added yesterday, sorry. So I'm going to click on grade 9 because I have a lot of questions in there. So I'm going to click on it. Then it's loading. You wait for it to load. So after loading, then the exams the questions you've made before in your bank, you look for it. Now I had a lot of questions from last year. So continue. Sorry, I have a problem here. So you continue. It's really getting slow. So continue. So these are the questions I have in my bank. So let me select another questions here. Now, if you want to select from digestion, which you've made before in the bank, this is the way it's going to appear. If you could remember, I labeled the question in for grade 5, I labeled we conduct an experiment. So this is the new one I made. So, and this is another one which I made. So, but you have to select at least 3 questions. So let me select, if you select the questions here, it turns red. You will select the second one, it turns red. Make sure you give points, the scores to each of the questions. I'm going to give scores, I'm going to give one each. Then after that, you select. But here, I cannot submit the question because the least question you need to have is 3. So I need to go back to that same place and select another one from the same place. So I'm going to select conduct an experiment now 2 times. I'm supposed to have 3 or 4 or 5 more questions in my bank, but because I'm just making the questions now, so I'm going to select this again. Then I'm going to have the same mark for it. Then I'm going to have this. So it's going to be added to mine. It's already had it before. So let me add from another grade. Let me add from grade 7. Let me add from grade 7. It's loading. So I'm going to add one more question from here. So when I click on it, sorry, the network is very slow. So now, click on it, it becomes red. So you give your scores, which is 1. And after that, you select it. So now you got 3 questions. Now you're good to go. So after this level, you give the passing score. The passing score most of the time it used to be 2 out of 3 for me. So then the next thing to do is you save it. So after that, you've already prepared an exam for the students. So the next thing to do is you go back here. You go back here. Now this is the exam is already here, conduct an experiment. So when you come back here, you go to the same place where the online assessment, and you move on to you scheduling the exam. Now to schedule means to make the exam available for the students to tackle. So when you click on it, then it takes you to this page. On this page, these are all the questions which I've had before, which I've scheduled for my students before. Now you add another one. Remember, all the time when you want to make something new, you click on add. So my topic was conduct an experiment. I must remember so that I don't have problems with selecting the same thing 2 times. Conducting an experiment. So after that, then you choose the name. Then it's already here because I had it before. I already prepared the exam before. So I'm going to click on the same topic, conduct an experiment. Then I move on to all these things are normal. They already made for you. Don't need to change them. So the next thing is the exam start date. The exam start date used to be the day in which you're making the exam. You cannot make an exam after the date. Means you cannot backdate the examination. So any exam end date, many people make mistake here. Make sure that the exam end date would have to be the day in which you're going to have a report, the MLG report for that week. Now we're still in the first report weeks. So the first report will be on the 14th of October. So you go to October, you click on 14th of October. So that's going to make the exam to be available to them. So the date of to publish the result should be a day after the end of the exam. So let's click on the 15th of October. And after that, the next thing to do is you go to choose the grade you want to make the exam for. I'm making the exam for intermediate stage. So the grades I have in it is grade 7. If you want to make some other grades, it's fine, no problems. Now there's a point you have to understand here. If you're teaching more than 2 or 3 or 4 grade or 4 sections in the same grade, you don't click on them one after the other. You click on them together at the same time. I made this mistake last year and it wasn't counting for me. So you right click and you drag down. So once you drag down, now you've already had you left click, then you drag down. Sorry, not right click. You click the left, then you drag down. Then you've already had all the sections selected. Then you click on in terms of student. Now, all the students in that level, in that grade, which you take in, now you already have all the names being selected for you. If you wish to have a password that the student needs to have before they can access the exam, you put a password 112255. But if you don't need it, if you want the students to have access to it immediately after logging in, don't worry about that. The next thing to do is to save it. So I'm not going to save this because this is a model. So the next thing is once you save it, let me save it. I'm going to remove it later. So once you save it, then it's going to bring you here. So now you've already saved an exam for them. So if you go back to where we were before, you can see your exam if it's done or not. Now let's say now you click on exam scheduling. It's going to show you now this is your exam. So conduct an experiment. Now you want to see maybe your exam is there or not. So this is it. So these are the details about the exam. And also you can click on this place to edit. If you have something you want to change in it or you want to remove from it, which after you've already scheduled the exam, you can do. This is a way to do it. If you do that after anything you want to change, maybe the date or whatever, after doing all the stuff you want to do in it, then you have to update it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it because it's not normal for me to have such an exam for my grades. So this is all you need to do. And after this, I think you're very ready to have a full score for your exam scheduling for that week. So this is the way you continue to do it till you're going to have a very good grade for your MLG. Thanks for listening.